Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is Dean Tenney, the Series 7 Guru, coming to you from my studio in fabulous Las Vegas. We just concluded our live stream Q&A. We do it every Tuesday, 5 p.m. And this was a QID that came up in that live stream. And I told the test taker that I'd be happy to explicate it for them. We will help you with any test prep vendor question you would like some help on. It's just easier if it's Kaplan because you can give me the QID and I can bring it up backstage. The best free supplement to your paid study materials is my YouTube channel. But if you don't have a Kaplan Q Bank, I highly recommend it as a paid supplement. With my Guru 10 discount code at checkout, you get about 60 bucks. That and the quick sheets I would highly recommend. Okay, for that commercial, you get free look at Kaplan content. And the first thing we always say, if you are following the guru, is fire up the T. You have to be able to track money in and out, particularly in a question like this. My God, this should be a churning question. I think there's like 8 transactions in here. I do think it's helpful as proof of the concept of the T. You know, a lot of other methods will fail you if you in this particular question, right? Now, I usually say we would do things on a per share basis, and then we're all done multiply. But boy, I got so many things going on here. I've got what, 200 shares, I got 2 calls, a put, another put, and I got to close it out. So when I have something like this, I like to do it in one fell swoop, put all the money in there. So usually, Dean, you'd see me fire up the T and I'd put 32. But in this case, I'm going to track all this money because there's lots of it, right? So 200 shares at 32. I just get out my calculator. 200 times 32 is $6,400. So I'm going to put $6,400 there. Then we buy 2 XYG July 35 calls at 3. So again, I'm doing it in one fell swoop. Usually Dean would put 3, but I have these odd contracts and even stuff. So I'm going to put that in there. That's going to be 2 contracts at 3, governing 100 shares. So that's going to be 600 that I'm paying for the calls. And then I buy a put for 6.5. Again, Dean would usually put 6.5 in there, but since I got so much going on, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there in total 650. And then I buy another put for 4 points. That's $400. So we've got 4 trades there. Now, what I like to remind myself is when I go to close out, I'm going to have to offset all those transactions, right? So now I've got I call this the initial setup. Okay, so before expiration with the stock trading at 37, I sell my stock. So that's going to be 7,400. As I mentioned, I got to do all these offsets. And so again, if you're good on your mechanics now, what I think this is proof of is how helpful the T can be when you get this question from hell, right? So he sells his stock. So we got that in there. He closes his calls for 210. So remember, that's 210 per share. That's 2 contracts covering 100 shares. So that's going to be $420 that I'm selling the calls for. All right. So I did a purchase and now I did an opening purchase. I'm doing a closing sale. I close out my puts for a quarter. That's going to be $25, 25 cents times 1 contract covering 100 shares. So that's going to be 25 and 25. Okay. And now it asks me what's the end result of this for what? A gain or a loss. And the way I do that now is I net. I say, okay, well, in total, I was out $8,050. I brought in a total of $7,870. So it looks like I have a loss. I got more money out than in. And so it looks like I have $180 loss is the answer to this question. I think, on the real test, every question is only worth 1 point. But boy, if you got this right, I think I'd just pass you on the entire exam. I'd say, no sense wasting more of your time. So, hellacious. But again, just look at that beautiful T. So, what I think is should be a Churning question. What is that? 8 questions, 8 commissions, and the guy loses money. There are no commissions on the test. But again, it illustrates fire up the T, that if you get the T and you can track money, no matter how complicated it gets, you can arrive at the answer. All right. So remember, inch by inch, your Series 7 is a cinch, and yard by yard, your Series 7 is hard. And I'll see you for the next explication request whenever that happens to be.